Well, hello. Welcome along to Module 3, Chapter 7. We have reached the end of the module that talks and gives you a lot of detail about how to put your media release template together and also, of course, how to write your media release. So this is the end result. This is a media release that I have put together. And what I want to do is I want to go through all the elements with you just to reiterate, and then I'd like to talk to you about some of the mistakes that people make when they send their media release out. Okay, so this is very, very important, and what this will do, it will trigger some of the topics that we spoke about in earlier chapters, which are all very important. Some a little more important than others, but nonetheless, when you put them all together, then you will understand just how important it is that you get your media release right. And all of the elements that we spoke about, as I say, are important. But once you understand them and you've done and written a number of media releases, then you start to get more confident. And that's what this is all about. So let's take a look up the top here. Obviously, this is the contacts area. And in this particular case, we have the contact name and the job that this particular person does within this organisation. And we have a telephone number and an email address. Now, that is the very least that you should provide, but there are other things you could provide. For example, a website, obviously, and also maybe your Twitter handle, maybe your Facebook account, maybe your Instagram account, and certainly in business, your LinkedIn account. That would be important. It's not essential, but nonetheless, you have an opportunity to do that. So your contact details, as I've explained before, are really important, because obviously if your media release captures the imagination or the eye or the interest of the particular person within a media organisation when they read it, then obviously they need to get in contact with someone. Now, in this case, it's Tony Brooks. He is the Media and Communications Officer for this particular business. Let's skip over here, media release and the date. Again, it's important to have the words media release there. You can vary that a bit, as I have mentioned earlier. You can have press release, you can have communication. There are a number of other ways of explaining this and displaying it, but media release is fine for this particular example. The date can go there. Now, I don't want to complicate things too much, but you could have media release and the date on this side, and you could have Tony Brooks's contact details on that side. That is fine. It doesn't really matter. And to complicate matters even more, and I don't want to confuse you too much, but you could get rid of the date here and put the date under here if you wanted to. But it's up to you. But as long as you've got all of this here and all of this here somewhere up the top. Now, this is important. This is really important. I mean, look how much of a highlight that logo is. I want to explain again, we don't need to go into as much detail as we did in a previous chapter, but I just want to reiterate, this is a high quality image, and it's really important that you have a high quality image as your logo. Now, the reason, well, not so much the reason, but to explain how important and to describe how this particular image is of high quality, the best way to do that is for me to say, if I were to click on this image now and expand it to a large size, the quality of the image would not diminish. And that's because it's a PNG. It is a PNG file, and that's important. And therefore, of course, when it's this size, it looks absolutely sparkling. But as I say, if I were to expand this to 2 or 3 times, 4 or 5 times the size, it wouldn't lose any quality. It's also a transparent logo, which means, and again, the best way for me to explain that is that if we were to change the background here to, say, a grey, you would see a slight square around this image, and that would be part of the file. But because it's transparent, you don't see it. You would also see a different colour in here, but because it's transparent, you don't see it. I hope that makes sense. This is a very important part of your media release, and that is a very high quality logo. It's outstanding. So we have looked at the top. We now cast our eyes down to the headline, and there's no question that the headline is the most important part of any media release. And this is a ripper of a headline. A warning to all dog owners, 3 checks you must make to ensure your pooch, your dog, your pet is safe. We're talking about dogs in this particular case because we're talking about a virus. This is what these words right here, these words are what the first person that picks up your media release within a media organisation will see. They will glance here and here, but they are not going to concentrate on that. They're going to look directly here. So you need to understand that this and this whole area here, these 2 sentences, this headline is absolutely critical to your chances of getting this media release read and then actioned. In other words, you get a phone call from the media saying, we'd love to do a story with you. This is really, really important. And I think it's important that I also go over this again just briefly with you. The reason this is important is because the word warning is there. The media will instantly think, oh, that's interesting. What's that warning? They'll look at dog owners and they'll think to themselves, yeah, a lot of people, a lot of our viewers or listeners or readers have dogs. So this could be a good story because there's a lot of people that, as I say, are reading our newspapers or watching our news services or listening to our radio shows. 3 checks. Remember I spoke to you about a checklist, about lists. The media love lists. 3 checks you must make to ensure your pet, your pooch, is safe. So the media will think, oh, I wonder what those 3 checks are. So that is a really, really good headline. Let's just head down a little further here to the follow-on paragraph. So the follow-on paragraph is a paragraph, a couple of sentences that fundamentally explain what the headline is all about. And that is important as well. So you've got someone from a media organisation who is interested in your headline. That's great. That's a tick. That is brilliant. What they will then do is they will then read the next par. They will read this paragraph. And that's what you want them to do. If that headline is not sufficient, or if there is no news in it, or if it's not interesting, and I've explained this a number of times, people in newsrooms are busy. They will not read this. They will only read that. They will say, we are not interested, and this will go in the bin. And that's what we don't want. We do not want that. So this is a very, very good follow-on paragraph, an excellent follow-on paragraph because it gives details, talks about the fact that it's an extremely dangerous dog virus. It's broken out in New South Wales. Good information there. Pet owners must act now to ensure their dogs are safe from infection. And then, of course, we get down to the list. And the list, again, is important because the media loves lists. They love them. So the list is this. Virus symptoms: a dry nose, a loss of appetite, wet and runny eyes. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, this is all great, but I'm not a veterinarian. Okay, just understand that the way in which you write this fundamentally translates to any business, any story that you're promoting. Now, you don't have to have a list. You don't have to have that. You certainly need this. You certainly need that. You need the follow-on paragraph. You don't have to have a list, but a list is good added information. And by the way, the only reason or the only way the person within the media organisation is going to read the list is if they are interested here. And the only reason they're going to read that is if they're interested here. So this needs to be good, this needs to be good, and then it takes you down to your list. Next, quotes. Now, the reason quotes are important is because it gives the person reading the media release a clear understanding, clear understanding of what you're likely to say if you are on camera, or if you're being interviewed by a radio host, or if you're being interviewed by a print reporter, or if you're about to go on a podcast. So this just gives the chief of staff or whoever it is that's reading the media release a clear understanding of what you're going to say. And of course, we have the quote, and we have Anthony Ashwood, and he is from Love Your Pets Veterinarian. Again, this is really, really important stuff. Now, this is the next paragraph that fundamentally, it's an overview paragraph. So again, it doesn't need to be long. it's all about what this media release is all about. The dog virus has been prevalent in New South Wales for the last couple of weeks. Good information. Veterinarians have become inundated with concerned pet owners desperate for help. The virus is extremely contagious and is spreading rapidly. Pet owners are being urged not to take their dogs out on daily walks. Okay, so good information, a general overview of what the media release is about in a general sense. Here's your bio. So this is important as well. You only need one sentence. This is what Love Your Pets Veterinarian is all about. First established in 1996. Our staff's commitment is to treat your pets with care, love, and compassion. Beautiful. That's all you need. Now, we get to the details again. This is slightly different from the top. Now, I just want to explain this. So for further details or to arrange an interview with Dr. Ashwood, please contact Tony Brooks, Media and Communications. Now, the reason we're doing that, or the reason this is in this particular media release, is because we're not ringing Dr. Ashwood directly. He's not asking you to ring him directly. He has someone working within his media organisation who is the Media and Communications Officer that the media will ring, and then Tony Brooks will contact Dr. Ashwood and say, Doctor, we've had a call from Channel 10 News. They'd love to speak to you about the virus. When are you available? That's how that works. But if you take Tony Brooks out of it, and let's say you run a business and you don't have a media and communications officer working within your business, and it's you, well then put your name here. Put your name here and your phone number. You don't need Tony Brooks up the top. You just need your details. Or it might be that you have someone else within your organisation that's not necessarily a media and communications officer, but they could be the conduit between you and the media. I hope you understand what I mean by that. So that is the media release that would go out, and I'm really proud of the way I've written that actually. That is the media release that fundamentally would go out to the media. If you were a veterinarian, and I'm not a veterinarian, I have a dog, but I'm not a veterinarian, and there was a dog virus in your area or in your country or maybe even overseas, and you had a view about it and you wanted to promote yourself through the media. I've spell checked it. You need to spell check it. I'm not saying that it's 100% right. I hope it is. But when you write your media release, maybe get someone else to spell check it. That would be good. I think that is really, really important. Now, a couple of things that I feel are also important, and we'll finish on these. Key mistakes, wrong information. Now, what I mean by wrong information is it might be a wrong contact number, it might be wrong details about who the media and communications officer is, there might be some factual errors within the media release that are not correct. So you just need to be really, really careful about that. Insufficient information, that's when you leave, say, the media and communications officer's phone number off. I mean, that would be the main one. But just be aware that you don't want to, you don't want to sort of deliver too much detail, but there's a fine balance between how much detail you need to give and send out on your media release. And if you send out too much, and we'll get to that in a second, then obviously, the person reading it's not going to read it anyway because they just don't have time. Spelling errors, bless their hearts. I am just such a poor speller. Excuse me, I always have been, which is ridiculous. I've been a journalist and a presenter for 40 years, so I need to get things checked time and time again. I alluded to this. Excuse me, not the cough. The media release is too long. I'll say it again. People within media organisations are busy. They are so busy, and they don't have time to read a long media release. So you need to be clever with the way you write it. No news value. We spoke about that in an earlier module about what makes news. There's no point in sending a media release out if there's no news, and there's no point in sending a media release out if it's an obvious commercial. In other words, it's just a promotional piece of material saying, come and speak to me, I want to promote my business. Not good enough. No contact details, we sort of touched on that at the top. Questioning the media. Now, what that means is this: if you don't get coverage and then you ring the media and you get abusive, or you get argumentative, why didn't you come out? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? No, you must not do that. That's really important. Please don't do that. That is so important that you don't do that. I want to talk about calling after you send your media release out in a second, but please, if you ring the media, don't abuse them. You don't want to get offside, that's for sure. And that falls into questioning the media as well. Don't ring them and question them. Sorry, that's actually, we just spoke about that. So please don't do that. That is really, really important. That'll just get them offside. And poor quality images, we spoke about that earlier. If you've got a logo that's of poor quality, that will reflect on your media release. I want to finish on this, calling the media. Not sure what's going on with my throat, but anyway, once you've sent your media release out, what I want you to do is this. I want you to leave it for 10, 15 minutes, and then I want you to ring the media organisation that you have sent the media release out to, and I want you to say this, and let's just say it's me, I'm the veterinarian, and my name's Mark Aston, let's just say. Hello, my name's Mark Aston. I'm, working with the veterinarian clinic. I'm just ringing, understand you're busy, just ringing to see if you received the media release. The Chief of Staff will then say yes or no, whatever it is. But let's say they say yes. Yes, we did. Thank you very much. What you then say is this. You don't say, are you going to cover it? You don't say that. You say, oh, that's great. I'm really pleased. I'm just ringing to make sure you got it. Look, if there's anything we can do for you, if you'd like an interview, that would be great. If not, or if you're too busy, or if you don't think it's a story, I understand, but I'm just letting you know we're here for you and we're available anytime. The doctor is available anytime. The media will appreciate that. They'll understand that you understand how they work, and they'll understand that you understand that they're busy. And that is priceless. That style of phone call is so valuable. And if you do it that way, I'm not saying that it will necessarily tip the scales in terms of you getting media coverage. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is that it's really good credit in the bank for you for the next time that you send a media release out, because the Chief of Staff will remember it. They'll go, you know what? They sent a media release out a couple of weeks ago. We didn't do anything on it. They've sent another one out, got a nice phone call from them. It's not a bad story. Let's do it. That's how it works. Conversely, if you ring them and abuse them, then, and I know because I've been in meetings when this has happened, you'll send another media release out because you didn't get coverage for the first one. You'll send the second one out, and the Chief of Staff will be holding it in their hand and go, you know what, this is an okay story, but they're rude. They don't know what they're doing. No, I'm not going to cover it. It's human nature. It's human nature. And you can't afford for them to be thinking about you in those terms. When you speak to them and when you communicate with them, it's so, so important that you do it professionally, and in a way where they understand that you know what you're talking about and you have empathy for them and you understand how a newsroom works. That is so, so important. Now, I'm just going to finish on this very quickly. When you send your media release out, and you make the phone call, that's cool. If you don't get coverage on that day, if you don't get another phone call back for an interview, please, I understand you'll be disappointed. I understand that. But please understand that it's a learning process. You are not going to get coverage every time. And so what I'm asking you to do is this. Learn from the experience. Get on the horse again. The next time you've got a story, write a media release, do it properly, do it professionally, send it out, make the call, and then wait. And if you get no coverage that time, you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again. And once you get that call back and the media say, we would love to speak to you, you will be exhilarated. You'll be a bit nervous. You'll be a bit nervous because you then need to perform on camera, which we'll get to, by the way, in Module 5. Module 4. Yeah, Module 4. But you'll be so excited. and then you're on your way. And then you are on your way. And I'm really excited about that for you, because I know you will be really excited when it happens. And once it happens, you get more confidence. And you start writing your media release with a bit more confidence. And then you get more confident on the phone. That's what it's all about. That's what it's about in life, but that's what it's about specifically in this area, that we're talking about. I hope you enjoyed Module 3. It is a really important module in all six steps to free media publicity. In Module 4, we're going to talk about camera skills, skills you need when you are being interviewed on radio, skills you need when you are being interviewed by a print reporter, skills you need when you are being interviewed on a podcast. Because I'm going to teach you how to prepare for your interview now. And that's the next step. See you then.